This is Talk About Topeka on Gab Local TV. This episode sponsored by Field of Greens and The Break Room. Here's your host, Chris Schultz.
Well, welcome to the Talk About Topeka studios. We're here with my good friend Sherri Camp from the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library, and we're celebrating, well, heritage right here. That's what you do, right, Sherri?
Absolutely.
You're our genealogy librarian over there, right?
Yes.
We have an event coming up. Now, we've been doing these heritage celebrations. We're going to be celebrating African American heritage.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about the event.
Okay, so you know already that we've done two. We've done the Celtic celebration last March, I guess it was, and then the German celebration in October, and now we're doing the African American one. We try to do two a year, and so for Black History Month, what a great time to celebrate African American heritage and history. And so we get started with from slavery to modern day, and what better way to do that through music.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so we're telling African American heritage and history through music, and so we have quite a few different things that we're going to put together. One, we have a storyteller who also will talk about the African drums and tell us about ragtime and minstrelsy and the history coming up through music. The beginning of our heritage time, if you want to call it that, timeline. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Motown, of course, in the 70s, and then we'll end up with maybe some gospel and a rapper, some local talent that will help tell the story of African American history from slavery to now. And in the mix of all of that, we're going to add a genealogy presentation, which will help tell a little bit about African American genealogy and how to get started.
So I hear we have a very special presenter for that presentation, right? She's pretty cool.
Oh my goodness.
Is her name Sherri Camp?
Her name is Sherri Camp.
Oh, right, good.
Yes.
All right. So what do you have in store for us?
Well, I really am, very adamant that we all do our own family history, and the reason why we should is because once we start to dig into our past, we learn not only our own story, but how our story fits into the larger story. And so we can tell local history, national history, based on the experiences of our own family. And what better way to get to know who you are than by getting to know who your family is, who you come from.
And you help a lot of people figure that out. I mean, that's your job.
That's my job.
So what's it like for people when they come in there? Do they come in not having any clue, and then like the bug bites them about finding out this information?
Gosh. I have had all kinds of people. I have people come in every day say, I want to get started. I had some gentlemen come in a couple weeks ago who sat down at the computer, had never done it before, and one guy sat down and he had his whole line right there online, and he could look, oh yep, that's my person and this is my person. Some had pictures, and we're looking at either Ancestry.com or Family Search. And there's just so much information that's making it to the web and really making it to the individual. So, we're all part of a big family. And so often we think, well, we just live in this little place, and maybe there's cousins and aunts and uncles or whatever, and maybe there's some people over in this city or that city or state, but we don't really think about the generations that we came from, that may be other people that we just don't know, that are working on their genealogy too.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Anybody famous that anybody's looked up and said, I'm related to George Washington, like the commercial?
Oh, I have one lady that comes in who literally is related to George Washington.
George Washington's related to everybody.
And she's working on her family history line, and she had what was it, a violin that had been passed down from the family line, and she was doing her genealogy because she wanted to give this violin to her niece, and she wanted to give the story along with it.
Oh, wow.
So I get to see cool stuff like that all the time.
He probably had his dentures made out of that violin was the same wood right there, I bet you.
Oh, Chris. I hope not.
Yeah, not either. Okay, so we have a great way to celebrate our heritage at the library, the African American Heritage Celebration. It's coming up February 20th, 2 to 5, Marvin Auditorium. It's going to be a great event. Now, what have people been saying about some of these heritage? We've had a good turnout for these things,
yes.
right?
First of all, in addition to the program, we also have vendors. I wouldn't say vendors. We have like different people with heritage displays come. For instance, for the German one, we always have the Topeka Genealogy Society because, of course, they have everything, and everybody needs to know what they have there. They have a table, and then we had for instance, the Germans from Russia. They had a table, and you just don't know how much information is out there until you pull all these people together and really start to look at it. When we did the Celtic celebration, we had people who had traveled to Ireland and Scotland and had all kinds of memorabilia and just various things that are just so interesting. Of course, we had a couple of people in kilts and lederhosen for the German. We'll probably have some African garb for the African American, celebration. But the point is that it's so awesome. This is who we are. I mean, we talk about America being a melting pot. It's really awesome to be able to see that, and so we do these celebrations, a couple of years so that we can just bring all this together and make it rich because we are rich in culture and heritage, and we just need to celebrate it. And, we are doing it through a genealogical perspective because it's not that it's not done. We have all kinds of celebrations all the time. I just had to have a reason to talk about genealogy, but genealogy and culture are one in one.
It's wonderful. Well, it's a great way to celebrate Black History Month. You can get out to the library February 20th, 2 to 5. It is our African American History Heritage Celebration. Come on down to Marvin Auditorium and check it out. That's Sherri Camp. She's our genealogy librarian. She can help you out over at the library. If you want to find out about your past, look her up. And check out the Topeka room upstairs over there. It's really cool stuff. We'll see you down there, and thank you so much for coming, Sherri.
Thank you, Chris.
You bet.